SOMA, it is so good to be with you guys. I look forward to every single Tuesday. I know I miss you guys. I'm excited to be back with you guys. I don't know when that's going to be. Hopefully, in my heart, it's sooner than later, but it's so good. Sam, I love that you're first in the chat always. You got dethroned last week, but you made a conceited effort to get back this week. So it's good to see you back in here, Sam. Nathan, I love you. So good to see you and your family on this past Sunday at Mother's Day in the drive-thru. Donald, it was so good to see you. Matthew, they're doing it for pride's sake. The question is, why aren't you on here earlier? That's kind of like what I want to know. Riley Tan, I love you so much. You bring joy to all of our lives, and we miss you. It's not going to be live in 3 hours. Obviously, we're live now. And Eric Weens, oh man, I hope your beard is down to here right now. I hope it is massive and majestic and wizard length. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping for you, is that you just have a wizard length beard. It's so good to be with you guys. It's so good. You trimmed it. I trimmed my beard as well. It happened. Man, it feels like it's been forever. I mean, if you think about it, it's probably just been about two months now that we haven't met, and that we've started this online conversation, this online platform to do SOMA online. Caleb Warner is here. Caleb, love you, man. Miss you, bro. I'm so excited to grab dinner with you when this is all over. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so good. Are you guys talking about Overwatch? I don't know what's going on, but Caleb, love you, man. It's good to see you. Okay, tonight's going to be a little bit different. I want to create lots of time and space for life groups. I'm gonna share. I'm gonna chat with you guys for a little bit, and then the goal is that you guys take some time, be in community, be in conversation with one another, spend some time to actually chat with people. I want this to be interactive. If you guys want to ask me a question, feel free to put it into a conversation, whatever you want. Let's have a conversation between us. My wife is texting me. Quinn, if you can hear me, turn the volume up on your computer. Check the YouTube video length or YouTube video link, the embedded video, to turn the volume up. I don't know a better way to say that. Matthew, only serious questions. Riley, share it on your friends and get it bigger. The beeping sound is Quinn texting me. That's what that is, but it's okay. There should be a little volume button in the bottom left-hand corner, and you can slide it up. So it's really all I have for you, babe, on tech support. Yeah, so conversation tonight is just going to be myself and you guys, no special guests, because I feel like I wanted to have a heart-to-heart with you guys. I miss seeing all your faces. I miss talking to you. All of those things. I miss it a lot. And so I think in this, there's been a lot of conversation going around about the new normal. The new normal being, what is life going to look like post-pandemic? What is life going to look like in different phases and different stages? And so I kind of was reflecting today, and I was writing some things down, and I don't want people to just define what my new normal is going to be, but I actually wanted to define what a new normal would be. And I'm hoping tonight in your life groups and in conversation community, you guys can begin to define what new normal is going to look like for you, because what's normal previous to this, what was normal in January and February, has become not normal. Like, it's funny, like we'll be watching Netflix. Like Quinn and I are watching The Last Dance right now, and I'm excited. I'm gonna go home and we're gonna watch The Last Dance tonight, the documentary series on Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. And as we're watching this, we see people hugging. We're like, wow, that's not social distancing. Wow, that's not practicing all of the things. So there's a new normal that has began to be defined. And so I want to talk about the new normal that I want to have in my life. And it's not going to be about COVID. It's not going to be about the things, but it's taking some things from this season that I want to carry forward in my life. So some of the things and I wrote down 6, and I'll talk about each of them. Some of the things that I want to become my new normal is creating space with people. Creating space with people had to become a new normal for me, where hangouts don't just happen by accident. It's no longer you just bump into people and you decide to hang out. It's not going for lunch after church. It's not just accidental hangouts anymore. And so a new normal I want in my life is that I want to continue to be intentional in creating space for people. Something that Quinn, Deb, and Amanda have done is they've done a social distance hangout in the church parking lot. And I love that, because they're intentionally spending time together. Last week I was talking with Eric on the phone, and this is something that him and I sometimes do, but in my opinion, definitely not enough. Eric, you should call me more. And the idea of creating space and conversation, I was texting some of the leaders last week just to see how they were doing. And I want to create space with people where it's not just my job, but it's something that I want to do. I want my new normal to include space with people. And I'd hope that for you too. I'd hope that you would no longer just take relationships for granted, but you'd create space with people. And so that's kind of my first thought, is I want my new normal to include space and time with people. The second thing that I really want is to continue forward in my new normal is rhythms of health. I've been on a really good eating kick and a really good fitness kick, and I've wanted my new normal to include rhythms of health. It's going to be working out. It's going to be eating. It's going to be time in the Word. It's going to be just balancing physical, mental, emotional space. I want to have a rhythm of health where it's going to be a normal thing, because I think something that this pandemic has given us, which is kind of a blessing in disguise, is the gift of time. I don't know about you. I've been working more, but my nights are by and large free. I have a lot more downtime, and there's parts of my day that are a lot busier, but then there's parts of my day where it's just there's free time, because you're not running out to restaurants, you're not driving places. There's space, and in that space I've kind of used that to create rhythms of health. And so not only do I want to have space with people, I want to have rhythms of health, and I want that to become part of my new normal. And then the third thing is, it's kind of like the first idea, but it's a little bit different, is in my new normal, I want to have the intentionality with relationships. Like I said, you don't kind of bump into people. You don't just accidentally run into people. It's very rare. Quinn and I were at Costco a couple weeks ago, and we saw a family from our church, and I was like, oh man, it's so good to see people from church. Like I miss seeing people from church. And so it was like exciting. Like this Sunday when we had the Mother's Day drive-through, we had about 20, 22 families come through, and some people were like getting emotional. Like they were beginning to like tear up and well up, because they missed that connection. And so the idea of I want to continue to be intentional with relationships. I don't want relationships to happen by accident, but I want to be intentional. I'm not conceited and looking at this season where it's like, oh, I'm finding out who my real relationships are. They haven't called me, so they don't love me. It's like, no, like that's not what this season is for. But it's being intentional with the relationship, saying, hey, I'm taking my time. And even though I haven't seen you, I was thinking about you and I'm going to call you. I want to do relationship on purpose and not by accident. And that's what I want a new normal to look like for me. I've been really good at that in the past, but I want it to continue to be good at it. I want intentionality to come through relationship. It's not who am I just bumping into? Who am I seeing at SOMA on a Tuesday night? But I dream of a community where we come back and we're actually stronger. I was talking to one of our leaders this past week, and we're like, what do you think SOMA is going to look like on the other side? Do you think it will be bigger or smaller? Do you think we'll have retention? And I'm very hopeful. I'm very positive in coming back, where it's the idea of, I think this is showing us our need and desire for community so much that we don't take it for granted anymore. And so the idea of gathering is no longer going to be common, but it's going to be special. And then I think about how that translates to the presence of God. If you've been in SOMA for any amount of time, you just look at worship as, oh, this is just something that we do. This is a commonplace. This is a common practice. But then we actually understand it's like, no, that's not true. It's actually holy. It's the presence of God. It's special. This is something that we get to do. It's a privilege that we have. And I think in the same way that we're going to look at social gatherings, we can also look at how we look at the presence of God, where this is going to be such a great opportunity. And so coming back, I want my new normal to intentionally do relationship. I want to intentionally do relationship with God. I want to intentionally do relationship with people. I want to intentionally build friendships and build people. And so it's this new level of intentionality that I want to come in with my new normal. And then coming back, so the first one, talking about what I want my new normal to look like, was space with people. The second was rhythms of health. And the third was intentionality with relationships. The fourth thing that I really want to come back as my new normal, and I kind of touched on it, was corporate gatherings. There's a lot of numbers thrown around, and everybody has their opinion on what is the right thing to do in the season. Do you wear a mask? Do you not wear a mask? Do you wear gloves? Do you not wear gloves? Is it 2 feet or sorry, is it 6 feet or 2 meters? Like, those are two different numbers. Like, what's the limit? Everything's so politicized in this season, but I think I want my new normal to not take for granted corporate gatherings. I'm really excited for when we get back together as SOMA. I don't know the exact date that it's going to be, but I know we will get back together. And when we do get back together, I'm excited for it. I'm excited that we're going to have an opportunity, even if it's from a distance, to wave hi or fist, elbow bump, like really whatever it is. But I want my new normal to appreciate the idea of corporate gatherings. I think there's times where we take for granted because we have it so often. But I want a sense of gratitude. I want to live my life with a sense of gratitude and a sense of appreciation, where it might become common, but it doesn't mean that it's actually normal. Could you imagine if, like, right now, what you would think if you saw a stadium full of people? Is your mindset that's normal, or are you like, wow, that's really unsafe? Wow, that's a really weird thought. Like, we took for granted the casual going to hockey games. We took for granted going to concerts. We took for granted SOMA Fest and having, 80 people in the room jumping around, moshing, all of that. We took those things for granted, but looking back, it's like, man, those were special times that we miss. And so I don't want to just forget that. And when it becomes common again, when it becomes normal again, you're going to hear me say it, but I'm going to say this is a special moment. This is something that we can hold and cherish. Like, let's not take for granted, because I constantly want to live in remembrance of the things that have passed so that I can have a gratitude to go forward. A couple people jumped in late. Julia, it is so good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Jacob and the Ardeline family, we love you. Leah, Isaac, you guys are the best. Jacob, I miss you, bro. Let's go on a walk soon. Figure that out. Abby Caldwell in the house. So good. So we're just talking about the idea of what we want to be our new normal. And so what I want my new normal to be, because we've been talking about the language of what is normal and what's not normal. Social distancing has become normal. I don't think really any of us like it. I think we're kind of just making do to get by. And so to recap some of the things that I want to become my new normal. I want to have space with people. I want to have rhythms of health. I want to have intentionality with relationship. I want to appreciate and love corporate gatherings. And then number 5 is I don't want to assume with people. And what I mean by that, by not assuming with people, I think we've taken for granted, just because we see people, we assume that they're doing okay. And I don't think we've been able to really do that in this season. We don't just see people, and so we can't just assume they're okay. Oh, if they show up, they're doing well. But it's taking time and asking the question, hey, how are you doing? Hey, how's that going in your life? Hey, what's God speaking to you? I want my new normal to not assume with people and ask good questions. I want to be better at asking questions of people, and I want to be better of communicating with people. I want to get into the nitty gritty to know how they are. I don't want to just assume, like, if I ask them, hey, how's it going? If they say good, I don't want that to be good enough for me. I want to know what's good in their life. And then I want to actually dive into the meat of it, because I don't want to just assume that it's very surface level. And it kind of touches on intentionality with relationships. And I want that to become a new normal in my life. I don't want to assume that people are just doing okay, but I want to go deeper with them. And I hope that would be true for you too. I would hope that in your relationships, even in this season, that it's not just assuming that people are good. I don't want to just assume all of those things, but I actually want to go deeper on a deeper level with them. I want that to become normal for me. I want to, when people get around me, to know that I'm going to ask good questions of them and know how they're doing. I think that's going to be really important moving forward. And then number 6, and finally, I want a new normal to continue to carry quiet time with God. If I'm being fully honest with you guys, and I always try to be, quiet time with God has always been a struggle for me. Like, I've never been the early morning kind of guy. Quinn can attest to that, where you wake up and you do your devotion, and you're just like flipping the pages of the Bible, and Lord, you're just so good. Like, that's just not who I am. I'm the kind of person that rolls out of bed reluctantly. I'm not super chatty in the morning. If you've seen me at Rev Camp, you would know that. Quinn can attest to that the best. Like, in the morning, I don't want to talk. I kind of want to just drink my coffee in quiet and in peace, and slowly wake up. And so part of my new normal is continuing my quiet time with God. It's something that I've been really good at in this season. And it's something that I want to continue, because life is going to get busier. Life is going to get more full again as the BC begins to reopen, as the economy begins to reopen. All of these things that begin to go and fill our lives. I think what is going to be the first to go would be a high potential of quiet time. And I don't want that to become normal. I don't want my life to become so busy again that I don't have a quiet time with the Lord. And I don't want to have to fight for it. I want that to become a part of my normal life. These guys are just putting me on blast right now. That's cool. I do bring my own coffee to Rev Camp. I do snore, but Jesus is still on the throne. And so all of those things. Now, at this time it's 7:20, and I want to open it up. Do you guys have any questions, any thoughts? I'd love to have sort of like a conversation if you guys have any. I'm just going to create space. What kind of questions do you guys have? I'll do my best to answer them. I can't promise that I'll have the answer, but I'll definitely do my best to try to answer. No, I haven't considered breathe right nasal strips. That's rude. But Eric, maybe you shouldn't call me. I'm kidding. You can still call me. Yeah, those are kind of the things that I want my new normal to consist of. I want to have space with people. I want to have rhythms of health. I want to have intentionality with relationships. I want to have appreciation for corporate gatherings. I don't want to assume with people, and I want quiet time with God. Those are really things that I want in my normal. It's a good question. Any questions, Abby? Abby's asking that. What do you guys think? I'm gonna have a drink of water. Time and space, just allowing you guys to type out all of the questions. I mean, no pressure if there isn't any questions, but the hope was to create an open forum just to give you guys the opportunity, whether you wanted to ask questions or not. It's not a pressure thing. You don't have to. I'm just going to add the Zoom IDs. No, the questions don't have to be spiritual. Because after this, open up for an extended time of life group for you guys. And then the life groups will have questions for you guys. Jalen asked, how would you see yourself implementing these things as a new normal? The way that I would implement these things, one, space with people. I feel like I'm really good with that already, but I want to continue that. I want to create space and time with people where it's an appreciation of it. I think rhythms of health is just something that you have to fight for. You have to, once you get into a routine, it's something that just becomes part of your life. An example of that is I don't think about brushing my teeth. It's something that I already do. And when it comes to a rhythm of health, it's just going to be something that I've already do. I'm using this time to build into my rhythms of health. And then, as far as intentionality with relationship, corporate gatherings, I'm just going to be reminding myself. It's going to be something that I'm going to constantly be saying, hey, remember this when. This is something I do often where people kind of forget, where I'm like, hey, when I used to live in California, and I do that to tell a story, but I also do that to remind myself of what God did in that place. And I think that's really important. So these are going to be some of the ways that I'm implementing these new normals in my life. I'm going to be reminding myself of what things once were, and so that I can continue to move forward. What do you miss the most about Pastor Jordan, and what do you not miss? Savage question. Cool. What's your favorite part about quarantine with your wife? Actually watching shows on Netflix. It's been a highlight. I love it. We never used to watch TV shows together. Big fan. Jacob, what have you been doing to stay positive during these times? These 6 things that I've been doing has been super helpful. The biggest things to stay positive is implementing rhythms of health and intentionality with relationships. I've had to be intentional in calling people. I've had to be intentional with reaching out to people and finding unique ways of hanging out with people. I'm an extrovert, and so people fill me up. And so what I've been doing to stay positive has been finding ways to still love people and connect with people. Eli asks, how do you think the pandemic has affected the worldwide view of Christianity and religion? Um, if there's one thing I know for sure, it's in times of crisis, um, people run to the church and God. You know, he's often viewed as the first to blame and the last to thank. And so when people think of crisis in their life, they view about their view of God becomes in the forefront of their mind. I think this pandemic has been unique in the way it's been really, really good for the church because it's forced the church to become more innovative. You know, who would have thought a year ago we would have had SOMA online? Who would have thought 3 months ago we would have had SOMA online? This is really unique, and I think it's forced the church to become innovative. The thing I love about the church is that it's God's bride and not mine. It's his to caretake and not mine. And so I'm not worried about the church because it's going to do really, really well. And so in times of trial and crisis, I believe the church actually becomes its best. The best self of the church is when it's being forced to be innovative. And so I think, if anything, this has highlighted what the church can do and how much better the church can become. So I'm very hopeful of what the church will look like on the other side of this, as weird and unique as that might sound. But I'm really excited about that. My favorite basketball player, currently playing or who's ever played the game. If you want to know my favorite basketball player who's currently playing would be Chris Paul. I loved him when he played for the Clippers. He was fantastic. I think he's one of the best guards in the game. CP3 is one of the best. And if it's ever played the game, it's got to be Jordan. Not just because of the name, but because he was the most dominant player to ever walk on the court. And for him to play at that level for that long is absolutely incredible. Chris Paul sucks, says Garrett. Cool, man. Cool. So Michael Jordan would be favorite player of all time. And then favorite athlete of all time currently is probably Tiger Woods. That wasn't asked, but Tiger Woods, probably one of the greatest comeback stories of all time ever in sports. Yeah, and so that's those are some. Anybody else have any other questions? I mean, I'm enjoying this, doing my best to answer these kind of questions for you guys. I got a question for Garrett. Who's your favorite active basketball player right now? Joel just texted me saying, any tips for those who have crushes but are socially distant? Yes, I have a tip. If you are in SOMA and you are in middle school or high school and you have a crush but you have to be socially distanced, thank God. Stay socially distant. If you're in high school, you probably shouldn't be dating because you're not going to get married. And so I'll be savage. If your parents have to drop you off to hang out with a member of the opposite gender to go on a date, you're actually not dating them. You're just going on a play date. So drop the mic. That's savage. Love that. Cool. Never even heard of that. What else we have going on? Have you ever thought of shaving your beard? Yes, and it is a bad decision. Last time I shaved my beard was 2011, and it was not good for anybody. With sports being off from so long, how many German soccer league games are you going to be watching this weekend? Not going to be watching any German soccer games this weekend. Every Sunday, I do watch whatever highlight previous golf tournaments are on. Matthew, yeah, that's savage. Play dates are fake dates. Don't do it again. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I get it, but if you don't have a job, if you're not out of high school and you're not ready to get married, why are you dating? That's the real question. Why are you dating? So honest thoughts with Pastor Jordan. And what do you miss the most in what you do? I don't understand that question. Would you rather your toes or your fingers never stop growing? That's for sure, Garrett. That's so weird. Who would have won the NBA championship this year? Unfortunately, the Lakers. Yeah, unfortunately, the Lakers. Would you rather give up coffee or never ever trim your beard? Oh, that's an easy one. I'd let my beard grow. Quinn, on the other hand, she's like, you're never having coffee again. I don't mind a long beard. Quinn, on the other hand, is like, oh my goodness. Now it'd be hard. What do you miss the most and what do you miss the least of my job? I miss the people. I miss hanging out with people. 100%. It's for sure what I miss the most. Yeah, it's no question in my mind. That is, that's what I miss the most. Are we back? I don't know what happened in the internet. I think we're back on now, though. It's frozen. Okay. It's frozen. Guys, I don't know what happened, but we're back up. The internet just like randomly stopped working. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Let me catch up here. Favorite dinosaur, Tyrannosaurus Rex, hands down, not even any question. Middle name, top secret. Everyone's singing Frozen. I don't know what happened. My system didn't delete it. It's like, Jordan, you were born for this. Yes, you were. You're back. You're delayed. We back. He's back. On the third day, he clutched the gulag. Yes. Made it happen. Jordan, top secret, Marcellus. Nailed it. Sorry, I don't know. It randomly said couldn't connect to chat, and we died. Favorite TV show, all times, Scrubs. Currently, I don't really have one. Quinn, what is it? Don't do it. Don't do it, Quinn. Well, guys, I love you guys, and I miss you guys a lot. I miss just the randomness. Kelso, love him. Love Kelso. Give her ice cream, she will tell you. 100%. She takes bribes, and she's not very expensive. Favorite actor? I don't know. Favorite actor? Ed Norton. Edward Norton, like just a clutch actor. He's not super mainstream anymore, but gotta love Ed Norton. So, or just Robert Downey Jr. because he just plays himself in every single movie. So Robert Downey Jr. Favorite pie? I'm a cake guy. Don't really like pie. Sorry. But the pies you made the other day look good. Really proud of you, Abby. Good job baking. Favorite ice cream? Chocolate chips. Haven't watched Outer Banks. Fun fact about Outer Banks, though, one of the actors used to go to church with me in California. His name's Austin North. Look him up. So Austin and I aren't really friends anymore, but we know each other, and he was a buddy when I lived in California, and I've been surfing with him. Who's your favorite Avenger and why? Batman. No, I'm just kidding. Favorite Avenger would be running through favorite Avenger. Thor, because he's hilarious. And he's epic. And he has a beard. So gotta go with Thor. Yeah, big fan of that. Adam Sandler and Jackie Chan as Jacobs. Love Jackie Chan. Rush Hour 3. Let's go. Have some apple. You and Quinn can come to our house. We'd love that. Come to your porch. Yeah, social distancing. Or just bring it to the office tomorrow. That works too. Credit card number. I don't have it memorized offhand. The first 4 numbers are 4520. Best of luck with that. And favorite Bible verse, Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for with evidence not yet seen. I love Hebrews 11:1. That's for sure top 5. But with that, I'm going to wrap up the massive Q&A. It started slow, then it came like an onslaught. It is also a visa. Favorite book of the Bible is Romans, no questions. Romans for sure. Romans probably one of the greatest of all times, in my opinion. They're all good, but Romans has a special place in my heart. If you guys scroll back in the chat, hopefully you can see the Zoom ID, Zoom chat. If you can't scroll that far back, I'm just going to do my best to place them here real quick for you guys. Justification, yeah, huge theme in Romans. Atonement, righteousness, grace, all of it. I could write about Romans. I could speak out of Romans. Honestly, if you just lived in the book of Romans, you'd be doing really well for yourself spiritually. James is a good one. It's very challenging because it is just a really impossible, unobtainable standard. It's a letter written to the church by, the half brother of Jesus. And so if you want to feel really good about your walk with Christ, read the book of James. I'm just kidding. You'll feel really bad because you're like, oh crap, James is like so good, but not. Join our Zoom call. Okay, I'll join for a bit. And then, there are the life groups. Life group leaders have questions that they want to ask you guys. So I'm going to end this here, and hopefully we will be meeting soon. I don't know when that will be, but with the restrictions lifting sooner than later, we will definitely keep an eye and follow health officials and what they recommend. But guys, jump in a life group. I encourage you. We absolutely love you all. You guys are the best. I miss you guys, and I'm going to be jumping in Senior Boys Life Group for a little bit. So we see you all. Love you guys. Bye.